G'day everybody, welcome back to another episode of Craft by Tim. You just saw me cut up 8 of these. Actually, I only needed 7, but... Shut up! Jeez! So loud. It's like Sunday. Almost 11 o'clock in the morning. Jeez. Why are you so loud? Anyway, g'day everybody, welcome back to another episode of Craft by Tim. You just saw me cut up 8 of these. I actually only needed 7, but I'm stupid, so I cut up an extra one. And I'll probably make mistakes, so it's probably not that much of a big deal. What are these for? Well, I am going to be making a scene. A three-dimensional scene from The Long Dark. This isn't a sponsored video, but I think The Long Dark is a great game, and I also believe that it has some really nice landscapes in it, which opens up the opportunity to make some really cool art from this game. So, if you get the chance, you should probably check it out. It's a good game. But I have a bunch of these. I'm going to cut a three-dimensional layered picture into these using the newest member of the shed, the scroll saw. Yes, we got a brand new tool. This is a scroll saw that came from the machinery house, Halfco Woodmaster. It's a great little machine. It's actually a lot of fun to use. I did a little bit of a practice project with it, and this is actually a really fun machine to use. So what I have here is one of the pieces of ply that I cut. These are 6mm thick plywood boards, and you'll notice that I put some tape on them. This is why. See all that splintering? That was what I was trying to avoid. Apparently it's not going to work as well as I was hoping it would, but we're going to see how well we can persevere. Now, the interesting thing about this is that it has 3 layers there. The center one is what looks like pine, which means that it's actually quite sturdy, but the outside layers are quite thin. It does mean that they are going to splinter quite a bit, and it will generally only splinter in the downwards direction because most blades cut downwards. It will splinter in the downwards direction as your blade will cut through it. So we have to be very mindful of that on the scroll saw. So I'm going to cover the entirety of the backs of these in tape. And then we get to start designing our picture, or deciding on which picture we want to use. This is my first one. I've marked the underside of it. I've covered the entire thing in tape, including all but the top edge. It doesn't really matter because of the picture that I'm using. This is the picture that I have designed myself. I just basically went on the internet, found a few different pictures, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll just throw them all together, and I kind of came up with something like this. Now, this will then go onto my top side. I'm going to glue this down to the tape. Now the reason why I put all the tape on the top side, even though the top side doesn't splinter, is because I wanted to glue this down, and if I glue this down straight onto the timber, it means that I'm going to have to get it off the timber once it's done, because this is going to be facing forward, and I don't want to have my pattern facing forward. I just want to have the bare material facing forward, even though I am going to paint this in the end. I wasn't quite in frame there. I'm going to have the sky, that's going to be on the background, as well as the moon. I also have the mountains, which are going to be the beginning of my foreground, and then I have the lake, which is consistent with this first ridge with the house in there, and that's going to be in my first layer. Then I also have my second layer, my third layer, and then my fourth layer, and as well as my fifth layer. I don't know which one comes first, but regardless, I did have a list somewhere of which one is which layer. Now you don't have to be really specific with it, you can kind of just throw them together and make sure that you're not covering anything too much, and you can basically kind of make it up as you go along. It's really forgiving in that sense. You have to keep this all within a border. I've given this about a 5mm border. I've cut these, I've made this so it's just the same size as an A4 piece of paper, so these panels were quite easy to cut out. It's just 210mm this way by 297mm along landscape side. Now I'm going to start gluing these down.
Starting to look like something. And there's the rest of the tape bit.
Okay, so as of currently, we are onto the stage of painting. So I've got a massive variety of different paints that I've been using. And this is what it's looking like so far. Now painting is pretty straightforward. You do background coming forward to the foreground. It's straightforward, it's very basic. But there is something interesting that I wanted to mention about the background. Now for the background I have this dark blue color. Remember, you only have to paint what's showing. So I've got this really dark blue color, and what I wanted to try and do was the Northern Lights, because the Northern Lights are actually quite a big part of this game. I believe in one of the more recent updates, there's you actually get light from the Northern Lights, whereas before you didn't really get very much light at night, and it was actually really dark. But as you might be able to see there, my printer's horrible right now, so it's getting a bit of problems. These are my color matching pictures. As you can see there, Northern Lights are a pretty big part. Now, it's one thing to paint the Northern Lights, which I'm still not entirely sure on how to do, but I'll figure that one out when I get to it. Now, it's one thing to paint the Northern Lights, but we could always make it a little bit more interesting. So here I have a few different series of paint pots, but they're not your usual paints. These are still acrylic paints, just like all the rest of these. These are all acrylic as well, but these are glow-in-the-dark paints. So with a bit of luck, hopefully this works, I should be able to mix up a glow-in-the-dark that I can use for the background, and possibly some other features in the actual picture, possibly lights and stuff like that. Alright, thank you everybody so much for watching this video. It's been a lot of fun to do, and I hope you guys enjoyed this project or were inspired by this project as much as I was. I've got a few more ideas similar to this, but I'm not going to bore you by doing the same project over and over again. Well, maybe later on down the track I might do it again, because using a scroll saw is a lot of fun, and it's a nice relaxing process, nice relaxing task. But anyway, was a lot of fun. If you guys do decide to attempt it, please share with me all of your own creations, whether or not it's something that you've seen on my channel, or maybe something just completely different, or whether it's something that you want me to try out. Go on over to my Facebook, there's a link in every description of every video that I've made, and just, you know, send me a message, share something on the Facebook page. I also post updates there as to what's happening with videos, and hopefully I'll start doing it a little bit more often to try and keep you guys in the loop, because I like you guys. You guys are cool. Anyway, thank you everybody so much for watching this video. Happy holidays. I hope you stay safe over these holidays. Keep all your phalanges attached. Merry Christmas, happy crafting, and as always, cheers.
It's cold.